Well, this is a hard one to answer because it's hard to define the best. For example, think about cars. If you were to ask an expert what the best car in the world is, they may say a Ferrari. But if you use your car every day to drive around 3 kids and a dog, a Ferrari is no good for you. And then you might not be able to afford it either. It's the same with accountants. The best will mean different things to different people. I've actually got a separate video about how to choose the right accountant for you, and it's worth just recapping a couple of things from that video now. For example, one of the first things you'll be looking for when you're picking the right accountant for you, and the best accountant for you, is the size of the firm. You should also be looking for relative experience to you and your sector, and looking at the fees, whether they're right for you and your budget. If you think about it, if you're a huge global firm like Apple, you're not going to use a one-man band in Liverpool to do your accounts. But similarly, if you're a one-person business based in Liverpool, you're not going to use PwC, a global firm of accountants with over 100,000 staff. Therefore, when picking the best accountants in Liverpool, I'm going to talk about a few of them that could be relevant to you. And basically, when I'm looking at the best accountants in Liverpool, I'm looking at accountants that provide accountancy services for small to medium-sized businesses. And for each one of them, it will depend on you, because a good firm will offer the services you need at the time that you need them. I'm going to start with a largish firm, a firm that's part of a global network, a firm called RSM. We actually use RSM to outsource some work for our clients when there's some complex tax or international work. We bring them in to help with us on jobs, so when I recommend them, I'm recommending them as someone who's used them. One of the big strengths of RSM is they can handle pretty much anything. And they can also advise you if you have overseas operations. They have offices all around the world as part of their network. They're a really good firm aimed at larger businesses. They give you that all in service and they do it well. They've got a good Liverpool office with lovely views if you go and visit them. You can look down on the Liver building, but I'm recommending them for the service rather than the view. If you're a medium-sized business, a firm I think is really good is BWM. Till recently they were called BW McFarlane. They're a Liverpool firm based in the city centre. They've been trading for the best part of 100 years now. I've got to give a mention to BWM because I'll admit my wife actually uses them to do some accounts for her. You see, she's the treasurer of a trust and they use BWM to do their accounts. They've always been very happy with the service. They're a decent sized firm based in Liverpool and a good level of resource and expertise to service a medium-sized business. Another firm in that middle tier would be Wilson Henry. They're another good Liverpool firm based on Edge Lane who look after small to medium-sized businesses. And they give all the services across the board. Again, they're a firm I've had quite a lot to do with over the years and have spent quite a lot of time in their office. They're the best part of 100 firms across Merseyside looking after small to medium businesses. Businesses from start-up to annual turnover of say £5 million. And this is where best really does come down to what you're looking for from your accountant. A firm I really respect is Jonathan Ford & Co. They're a very progressive firm of accountants. They're really into cloud software and Zero and have been at the forefront of these new technologies that really enhance the services they can provide to their clients. As well as working with some global accountancy firms, Jonathan himself was FD of Mersey TV and they specialise in the creative sector. They're really good, really forward-thinking firm. They've got lots of experience. The firm's been going for nearly 20 years now and a strong team of around 10 accountants. They can give you everything you need if you're a smallish business and particularly in that creative sector. They'd be an excellent choice. Going slightly further afield, all the way to the Wirral, are Wood Squared. Now they major on business growth and pride themselves on a 100% success rate in raising funding for the clients. I first met Alan Woods as part of a network of accountants committed to providing more to their clients than just the standard stuff. Really helping the clients to make the businesses better. And Alan really does believe in doing that. They've also won a lot of awards. Shame they're on the wrong side of water, but you can't have everything. Another firm I should mention, with perhaps a different expertise, it's actually my ex-firm, MJF Accountancy. What MJF are really, really good is providing straightforward help and make sure all the basics are done, and done very well. They'll make sure you hit every deadline and you don't have to worry about the financial requirements of running a business. They do give good advice on tax reduction, but in some ways it's more of a no-frills service, but an excellent service at that. They're absolutely reliable, and if you have a big pile of paper that needs sorting, they'll fix it. They'll sort it out, get it into a set of accounts, and then get you fixed going forwards. Hope that gives you a feel for some of the best accountants in Liverpool. It really does depend on exactly what you're looking for. RSM are excellent if you're a large business, have a lot of complex transactions going on, perhaps in terms of tax or research and development credits. BWM and Wilson Henry are aimed at medium-sized firms with a good level of resource based in Liverpool. Then the likes of Jonathan Ford, Wood Squared and MGF Accountancy are more aimed at those smaller businesses with different levels of service depending on what sector you're in and what you want from your accountant. To summarise though, it does depend on you and also the size of your business and the fees. It's a general rule of thumb, the larger the firm, the larger the fees. It's not always the case. Some of the small firms have real experts and are actually based on the value they provide, but it's a decent rule of thumb. And it does often make sense to look for a firm that, in terms of size, is not dissimilar to yours, because they understand your business a bit better. It's back to that thing. Apple wouldn't use a one-man band, but neither would a small business in Liverpool want to use a global firm. They don't really understand you and your numbers. I hope you found that useful. If you have any queries, please do get in touch. It'd be great to hear from you.